right, everybody. You know what time it is. The Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. Bam! Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we thank God for all those of you who decided to tune in to join us here on the live broadcast that is broadcasting to you on multiple channels and stations. Number one, welcome to those of you who are listening to the audio podcast and live broadcast on the legendary WIGO Pacesetter 1570 AM on your dial, also on WIGO1570.com. And last but not least, for the audio only, you also can check us out on what's our other last spot? Oh, yeah, the free TuneIn app. If you don't have the app, download it. It is an absolutely free app, and you can check us out and find us right there and right now. And also, if you're trying to reach us via the phone, remember, I'm on the air, so I can't take the phone call and answer at the same time. I'm just saying. Anyway, appreciate all those of you again who are watching and listening to us, and we are excited that you are with us here on this broadcast this morning. We're going to talk about a couple of things. The big thing is my question of the day was simply, hey, you still mad at the Falcons? You still feel some kind of way? You still thinking the Falcons are made a mistake? That's the big question. And my statement is, could they be right? Could the Falcons actually be right with all these moves they made during the offseason? Also, later on in the broadcast, we're going to talk to you. Yes, that's right, folks. It's that time. It's Mama's Day. That's right. It is Mother's Day, and we want to give a big shout out to moms, whether they are with us or not. We want to give them a shout out because certainly
without our mothers, where would we be? So, again, we want to talk about a Mother's Day event that is going on. We're going to have one of the stars of the event that you see posted, in case those of you are watching. It's called the Tea Party Affair. For those of you listening to WIGO, a Southern Brunch and Entertainment event that is coming up at the legendary Ford Hall, right down the road from our station in Hapeville, Georgia. And so we're going to have Dr. Alonia come on and talk to us. She is one of the featured performers of that event. So keep it locked right here for more great updates from our station WIGO. Well, speaking of updates, last night we had a NBA playoff game that went down. And I got to tell you something. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but it really, it's becoming harder and harder for me to really lock in and do sports the way we do it, because I got to tell you, man, I'm watching these games and they just look a little slim shady at times. So last night, the defending NBA champions, the Denver Nuggets, found themselves rolling into a stoked Minneapolis, Minnesota stadium to take, not stadium, Lord have mercy, court to take on the hottest team and the new team in the NBA, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, the Timberwolves had the audacity to go in and knock off the defending champions on their home court, not once, but twice. And so now we're rolling back home with a 2-0 lead with an outside prospect of sweeping the defending champions. Now, in watching the Timberwolves. I got to tell you, watching Anthony Edwards up close and personal, I don't want to kind of overstate this, but he was looking Mikish, like, like Michael Jordanish. And this is what he's been playing like these last several games, and even throughout the playoffs. This guy looks like he cannot be stopped. I mean, taking guys to the rack, dunking on people, doing the kind of things that we have not seen in a while. And really, we've not seen this type of confidence and dominance from a player and unstoppability. To me, it's almost like at that Mike type level. Don't get me wrong, we've certainly seen LeBron James dominate, and I've certainly seen Steph Curry light him up. But in terms of the nastiness and the bravado and swag, yeah, he's him. And last night, the weird thing was I didn't see any of that. And you're probably saying who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, the star off guard, the number 2 guard for the Minneapolis, Lord have mercy. See what happens on Saturday morning. The Minnesota Timberwolves. Last night, he looked like only a shell of himself. And they say, brother, why would you be upset about that? Because when I see stuff like that, I go, it just looked like that Minnesota, the way they played last night, kind of looked like they weren't all in. Don't get me wrong, raucous crowd, places rocking, but from the opening bell, Denver dominated this ball game. Now, a lot of people say to me, well, they're the defending champs. What do you expect? I mean, they've taken down all contenders in the West. And last year they were dominant in the way they handled their business in winning the NBA Finals. They have the reigning 2-time MVP, even though Shaq may not agree, when they call it Joe Kick. And you're thinking, well, why shouldn't they come in here? But man, I mean, the energy just didn't look right. The energy looked bad. I'm being real as I can be real, man. The energy just didn't look right for a team that had an opportunity to throw a knockout punch against the defending champions. And a team that had a guy that, like I said again, has been virtually unstoppable. And let's take a look at the stat line from last night, so you guys can get a feel what I kind of feeling what I saw. Okay, here's the stat line from last night. Nuggets final score 117-90. They blew them out. And I look at Anthony Edwards' stats here, and I just, like I said, it just doesn't seem right. Now let me go to these stats. Let me just take a look at Anthony Edwards here. Let's pull him up here. First of all, he only had 19 points. This guy was averaging, I think, 35 points a game in the playoffs so far. Just unstoppable. Look at Anthony Edwards' stats last night. This was 8 of 15. 3 of 8 from 3. He had a grand total of, like I said, 19 points. And he was a minus 32. So that means that while he was on the court, the Denver Nuggets were up by, on average, 32 points. And I'm looking across the starters. Karl Anthony Towns, another guy that just seemed like he didn't show up. 14 points, minus 32. The 6th man of the year, Jaden McDaniels, minus 18. It just seemed odd to me. I mean, the whole thing, they just seemed flat and not fluffy. I'm just sorry. I mean, you would say, brother, you think they throwing a game? Well, it looked a little slim shady to me. I'm just saying. It just looked a little shady. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully everything was well. But when I see these types of things, when I see teams or see players don't playing up to par, it just makes me kind of wonder what on earth was going on in this game. And like I said again, especially since they had the opportunity to throw a knockout punch. Speaking of knockout punch, we had more going on in the NBA the night before, as we had a redo of a series that we had not seen, at least these two teams. So now was more of a young buck. And I'm talking about in the East, the Indiana Pacers, one of the most explosive offensive teams in the NBA this year, against the resurgent New York Knickerbockers. Now, I'm from the New York area originally. I grew up in Connecticut, had a chance to be there in the heydays when they had Patrick Ewing, when they had John Starks, and when they went toe-to-toe with the Chicago Bulls year after year, and finally, the year that Michael did not appear, got the NBA Finals before they were knocked out by Hakeem Olajuwon and the Houston Rockets. But Indiana Pacers, Reggie Miller, all those guys, especially Reggie Miller, yeah, with the scoring, I think 9 points in like 15 seconds to Indiana win over New York. The back and forth between him and Spike Lee, this was all legendary stuff. And so now we have kind of this, 30 years later, we almost have a redo of this same thing with the high flying Pacers coming in to New York. And great series so far. New York was up 2-0. Pacers found themselves in the back against the wall. They went home and handled business, beat the Knicks 111-106. Knicks are banged up. That's the story of this series. The Knicks are terribly banged up, and the question is going to be is, can they keep pace with the Pacers who push the ball up and down the floor? That's going to be the question. Jalen Brunson, a guy who really kind of has, to some degree, taken over the Trae Young role as that pesky point guard that when you absolutely have to have a bucket, he gets it for you. He is banged up. He is hurt. He says that he's going to play each and every day. Don't worry about it. And even in their loss, 10 of 26 from the floor, shooting a little bit off, 2 from 6 from three-point range, but still put up 26 points for the Knickerbockers. His Villanova teammate, Dante DiVincenzo, 35 points for him. But it was not enough. The Knickerbockers go down 111-106 to the Indiana Pacers. And now, once again, boys and girls, we have a series, especially if Indiana is able to tie it up here in Game 4. So, the NFL, Lord have mercy. NBA is getting what they want. High-profile series, lots of excitement, young guns popping onto the scene, and a possibility for ratings boondoggle, especially if the New York Knickerbockers are able to get by the Pacers and the Boston Celtics are able to get by the Cavaliers. Everybody would love to see a Boston-New York series, 2 rabid fan bases, 2 major markets. So I'm sure that everybody wants to see that in the NBA. And that's why I say from time to time, we be seeing some things to me that look a little shaky. But anyway, that's the news from the NBA. Meanwhile, baseball still goes on, and right here in Atlanta, the Atlanta Braves continue their foray into the season. We're about maybe 20% of the way in, and the Braves are doing what they always do, putting up some big numbers, starting off the season very, very well. They're at, so far, let's get the overall record, 23-12 for the Bravos. 23-12. But their arch rival, the Philadelphia Phillies, actually are outplaying them so far as we start the season. The Braves, believe it or not, find themselves looking up to the Phillies. The Phillies have been the hottest team in Major League Baseball this year, off to a sparkling start. They have won 27 of their first 39 games, and they find themselves with a 2-game lead over the Bravos. And like I say again, they have the best overall record in Major League Baseball. It seems like they're carrying on from what they did last year. If you remember, last year they knocked off the Braves in the first round of the postseason, and they've done that the last 2 years. Much of a thorn in the Bravos side. But, listen, at the end of the day, this is what I tell people. I don't care how the Braves play right now. They're talking about Olsen's in a slump. They're talking about people that finally found out a way to pitch to Ronald Acuna. Man, I don't care about any of that. I mean, seriously. At the end of the day, the key is this. How are you playing in September and October? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter about how you do during the beginning of the season. It's a 162-game season. My thing is, can the Braves play well when it counts? And one of the big things that's going to help them is an acquisition they made, which I was kind of skeptical about because he was kind of banged up, which is Chris Sale. Chris Sale's come over. He was a stud for Boston, helped them get to the World Series and win a couple years ago. Well, he's come right out of the box here for the Braves, lighting it up. 5-1 so far. Matter of fact, won over the Red Sox with a 6-inning, 10-strikeout performance just the other day when the Braves swept the Red Sox when they came to town. So, like I said, I'm not worried about it. At some point, Matt Olson is going to hit. At some point, Ron Acuna is going to hit. These guys, you have to go by what their lifetime averages are. In lifetime, you're going to get somewhere around 30-plus homers, maybe as many as 40 homers from Matt Olson, and somewhere between 90 and 105 runs batted in. Ron Acuna, you're going to get a guy that's going to bat around 300. You get a guy that's going to steal you anywhere between 40 to 50 bases, and guys are also going to hit you around 30 homers and be pretty close to 100 RBIs from the leadoff spot. And that's just two of the thunderous bats that the Braves have to bring to you. Not even talking about Ozzie Albies, probably one of the most underrated infielders, two-way infielders as far as hitting and as far as defense in Major League Baseball. Guy is grossly underrated. If he was on any other team but the Braves, people would be calling him the best second baseman in baseball. Just saying, this is a guy that put up 30 homers and knocked in, I believe, 100 runs last year and scored 100 runs and plays great defense, perennial all-star. Okay. At third base, you got Austin Riley, another guy, perennial all-star. Guy who was in the MVP conversation. Okay, you have Sean Murphy, one of the best defensive catchers in baseball. And oh, by the way, he hit over 20 homers last year. And quietly, well, not quietly, he's making a lot of noise. A guy who was just a couple of years ago thought to be out of baseball due to some domestic violence issues. Okay. Marcell Ozuna lighting it up, one of the major league leaders in home runs. So, Braves fans, pump your brakes. All right, guys, we're going to take a little break in the action here. We're going to give to you a little bit from some of our sponsors. And then, of course, we're going to bring on our guests for the day to talk a little bit about Mother's Day. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Keep it locked right here.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net. Congratulations, Amici, on your new F-250 that you got from us. How was your experience here at Allen Vigil Ford?
Thank you so much, Jonathan, man. I appreciate everything you did for me, man. This is awesome, right?
Coming up next, it's the Real Talk Sports Show, bringing you great sports talk with perspective. Now, here's our host, Jonathan Simmons.
We're back here for the second half of the Saturday Sports Update. That is correct. I'm your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons. Thank to all of you who are watching and listening to us on various platforms. Well, you know, this weekend, boys and girls, friends and citizens, it is Mother's Day. And there is a big event that's going on right here in Atlanta called the Mother's Day Party Affair. It's Southern Brunch and Entertainment. And we're going to have one of the featured performers here joining us in just a moment. Matter of fact, we're going to bring her on, the lovely Dr. Alonia. Welcome to our show.
Hey, Jonathan. Thank you for having me. Happy Saturday.
What's going on? Happy Saturday. How you been? How you been? Good to see you. It's been a little minute.
I know. It's been a minute. When he said Jonathan, I said, that my Jonathan?
There you go. The one and only. The one and only. Well, listen, we appreciate you taking time out because I know that you're preparing this great event that's going on. Tell people a little bit about it and you know how they can get there and why did you come out and spend a little Mother's Day with you and the folks over at the wonderful Mother's Day entertainment event.
Okay, well, thank you again. This is the birth child of Natalie Michon, a serial entrepreneur, and this is the third annual Mother's Day Tea Party Affair. And it is absolutely beautiful. When I came in, I wanted to come by the backdrop. You'll see this beautiful purple and teal wall behind me, and inside the event area is beautifully decorated. And what Michon wanted to do was something to really, really, really celebrate mothers. And so this year we have a theme, melodies, messages, and memories. And so my part is to help with the melodies. We have some amazing songs that we'll be sharing. I have my beautiful Spelman sister, Kathy Rollins, with me, who is a singing sister all by herself. And I also have the amazing Jay Renee, who's also a singing sister that's got my back, and we're going to be singing. We are backed by Jazz Matters, led by Edwin Williams. And so we're just having an awesome time. Great musicians. There's going to be lots of food, games, and just lots of fun. And I'm looking forward to it. Now, I just got the word, Jonathan, that it is sold out.
Oh. How about tell everybody where you get date, time, and place, where you get your tickets? Well, well, this is what happens, but at the end of the day, it should be a phenomenal event. And we're excited for you. And I heard you got like a famous star. Did I see Tony Terry's going to be in the
Yes,
building as
Tony
well?
Terry's going to be here. He's well renowned for his amazing song "When I'm With You." We have Jay Henry, who's the big teddy bear with that amazing voice and saxophone. We've got some other treats coming. We've got a special surprise that's gonna special Mother's Day message. So it's gonna be phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
All right, real quick before you go, tell people how they can find out more about you, website, and social media, please.
Okay, well, most people in the business arena know me as Dr. Alona, the prolific voice for my writing, speaking, teaching, training. So you can find me online at dralona.com. That's DRALONIA.com. But you can also find me at alonasings.com, ALONIASINGS.com, and Alona Sings on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and what's the other one? TikTok. Yep. So I'm on all of those platforms and just happy to see everybody. I'm on a mission to spread love, joy, and peace through the art of music. And that's what I'm doing.
A multifaceted woman, guys, a preacher, teacher, and unbeknownst to me, a singer. Listen, Dr. Lona, appreciate you coming on the broadcast. And again, congratulations to you. And I know you guys are going to have a fine time celebrating mothers this afternoon.
Okay. Thank you so much.
God
All
bless.
right. Okay. God bless you too. All right. Bye.
Yeah, guys, it's just phenomenal to see what's going on here around Atlanta. There's always something happening here, which is the cool thing about being here in the ATL. And we appreciate Dr. Alonia for stopping by because, I mean, she's getting ready to go on stage in just a minute because the program starts at 12 noon. We're going to take another little quick break, and then we're going to come back and ask the question, you still mad at the Falcons? And maybe, just maybe, they got it right. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Don't go nowhere.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
This is Patrick Willis, and this is Real Talk Sports.
All right, guys, we're back here for the final segment of the Real Talk Sports Show. Thank you so much for joining us and for tuning in. Okay, so I had to ask this question because literally since the shocking draft pick of Michael Penix, people here in Atlanta, especially longtime Atlanta fans, have been off and out of their minds. I mean, this has been probably the hottest topic in Atlanta sports, and I dare say around the nation as far as those who cover the National Football League. So that was my question. You still mad at the Falcons moves? And now after getting a little glimpse of them at the rookie camp, which is open up, the question is, could they be right? Could the Falcons actually be right in what they have done in the offseason? When you look at it again here, and I have a montage up for those of you who are watching us, and it shows the draft picks they drafted. It shows Kirk Cousins, Rondell Moore, and some of the other picks in terms of free agents that they brought in during the offseason. And a lot of people were feeling some kind of way. A lot of people like, look, man, they should have drafted an edge rusher that we knew. They should have picked up one of the top three guys, whether it be Latu, whether it be the young man of Alabama, or whether it had been Verse out of Florida State. People were like, hey, man, the Falcons need help on the defense. What? Why would you pick not only another offensive player, but a quarterback after you spent a stunning $180 million to bring in Kirk Cousins? People like, you got Kirk Cousins here. Why would you draft a quote-unquote quarterback for the future? But in looking at what the Falcons are kind of constructing here, both in the words of Terry Fontenot, being good today and in the future, I found out something. There's a pattern. There is a sensibility about what the Falcons are doing. It seems crazy. I know it does. It seems like these guys are doing something off the cuff. But the actuality is that the Falcons, to me, what I have seen with this team is this. They have a strategy that consists of the following. They want good players. They want good character. They want them to be a good fit as far as, good guys in the locker room. And then they want kind of a local flavor. That's what it seems like their pattern is for this Falcons team, is those things. Like you said, good players. You got to have good character. They want you to be a good fit as far as, being a good teammate. And last but not least, they got a little local flavor. A lot of these guys that they're bringing in have ties to the Southeast, or even more specifically, like in the case of J.D. Bertrand, is from the area. He's like, look, man, I'm over the moon this whole thing, because like my family now is literally about 45 minutes away. A lot of people will listen to this and say, well, dude, I mean, who cares about that? I mean, what? We want to win. Absolutely. But I think that, and you guys have heard me say this before, this draft has a bit of a spiritual aspect to it. You say, oh, minister, you're getting spooky. No, here's why I say that. Because this team, in order to build this franchise, what they've done the last couple of years, they really have done some things that have been kind of spiritually maybe not so good. First of all, you had to tear down not one, but two houses of worship, two churches. One of them, I didn't realize until later, was a church that was actually a stopping point for the Underground Railroad. And one of them being over 100 years old. So that you're talking a lot of history, a lot of things that have gone down in those churches to impact families over generations, and those were removed from our community. The other thing too is that the Falcons over the years, when they erected not one but two stadiums, they cut into and put a wide swath into long-standing African American communities, where again there was a lot of history that went down. And the thought was, because unfortunately these communities have fallen into disrepair and neglect, that the Falcons, the city, the state, all the monies that would come in here would help benefit these communities. And I would dare say, after visiting, and those of you who are from Atlanta know, that if you look at the West Side, you look at even the AUC area, it doesn't seem that they benefited too much from all this money, like a multi-billion-dollar stadium. Now they just erected I think, $1 billion hotel. Doesn't seem that people have benefited much. So to me, what I felt that, hey, the Falcons have to make a shift in the way they go about their business. The Falcons seem like they have committed to saying, we're going to be a team of good guys from our coach on down. That's why they bring Bill Belichick in at the end of the day. They wanted to bring in the anti-snarky. And Raheem, as they call him, Coach Ra, he is the ultimate anti-snarky. Everybody loves the guy. He seems to be a great guy. And like Tony Dungy, has a pedigree. Matter of fact, he played under Tony Dungy. He's a guy that believes that you can get as much done in winning being nice as being nasty. And all these players, don't be wrong, you have to have a little nastiness when you get on the field, but all these players, even the studs they have like Jesse Bates, all these guys seem to be high character, family guys, and it's more about meshing together and actually having a good time while winning. You think that strategy is right or wrong? I don't know about you, but in terms of trying to watch a team, it's much easier to put up, even with, I don't want to lose, even on their climb and ascension to being great, you can live with it more if you like the guys. I think the Falcons know this, and I think that's why they picked the guys they picked. They're looking to put fans in the seats, not only through outstanding play on the field, but to make sure they have good character guys that fit into the community overall off the field. I don't know about you, but to some degree, that makes the preacher happy. I'm just saying. All right, guys, as you know, this is Saturday Sports Update, so we can't be with you too long, especially because we are on WIGO, and they have a show coming on behind us. So I want to say to you, as I do each week, as we get ready to sign off, keep it locked here on the legendary WIGO, Pace of the 1570. Remember, you can follow us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. And also remember, you can contact us via any way you'd like. I'm packing up all these things on the screen as I get ready to get off here. You can contact us, jsimmons@realtalksports.net. Follow us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports, the number 7, or you can call me or text me directly at 678-410-9833. Well, the preacher in me has to make sure before I leave this broadcast to let you know that if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, your personal Savior, Mighty Yeshua HaMashiach, I'm telling you, get to know him today. Why? Number 1, he loves you. Number 2, he died for your sins. And number 3, that's the only way you can get to heaven and avoid that nasty place called hell. Woo-wee. I don't know about you, but I like option number 1 instead of option number 2. All right, guys, until next time we get back together again, we say simply as we always do each week. God bless you and have a wonderful rest of the day or evening, whichever may apply. So long and take care.